Welcome to the Medium with Celeste. And now for today's teaching moment, we're going to head outside by the water.
In the spiritual community, oftentimes we'll hear terms like soulmate or twin flame. And I believe that there's a lot of different versions of what that means. My understanding from everything that I've been through and all the meditations and self-evaluations I've done for myself is that soulmate is somebody who comes into your life and is meant to be there, whether it's for a lesson or for something more important like a committed relationship. Oftentimes soulmates are lesson givers though. So everyone wants to find their soulmate and, live happily ever after. And that's not really what soulmates are about. Soulmates are about someone who is coming into your life to teach a lesson. And the connection with soulmates is usually very, very strong, but not often strong enough to survive forever. And you'll often find that with a soulmate, they'll come in and they'll seem like the perfect person. And then the longer you're with them, the more you realize that you're both turning into very different people. And that's because you're both learning your lessons from each other and you'll shift and disconnect. That often happens with all soulmate relationships. And sometimes our soulmates are our family also. They're just people that we're meant to come in contact with for lessons. So oftentimes you'll find yourself disconnecting also from family. And that's not a bad thing. That means you're growing and you're evolving who you're supposed to be. Now, a twin flame is what people believe is their true love of their life and the person you're supposed to spend every moment with. Oftentimes, twin flame relationships are the greatest pain, the most discomfort you will ever feel in your life. Twin flame relationships usually burn while they're going down. And the thing about twin flame relationships is sometimes they can be family. So your twin flame can be a brother or a sister or a cousin or your mother or your father. And oftentimes with that experience, we end up in so much pain and so hurt because they betray us or they pass away young. And we're left feeling empty because we're missing a part of an energy that we're so familiar with. Oftentimes people think of twin flames as the same exact flame split apart, but it's more like a burner. So a burner on a gas stove has multiple little flames on it, and all those flames together work, right? But when one goes out, it changes the way the others will work. And eventually there's like a clog. Oh, that's a whole nother story. I'm not gonna get into that, but it's like as one leaves, the others will feel the absence. A twin flame, you can have more than one twin flame, and you can also have more than one soulmate. Hundreds of soulmates throughout your life is possible. And people get so stuck on wanting to hold on to these relationships. And if they're connected to a past life and something you have to finish in a past life, then you will understand that as time goes on if you're paying attention to the signs. Oftentimes people who meet a soulmate or a twin flame say, I don't know, as soon as I met them, it felt familiar. We could talk for hours. It was like we'd always been together. But that doesn't always create lasting relationships. And that's not what soulmates and twin flames are about. Oftentimes they're about life lessons. Your best relationships will be relationships that start off as friendships and feel new to you. and where you have a ton of things in common and they're new experiences, and they may not feel as strong as a soulmate. But I always like to tell people this: our relationships feed our egos and our souls. So you have to find the balance between the two. Anything that starts really fast and really heavy and really connected is probably eventually going to burn out. And that's the sad aspect and truth about twin flames and soulmates. The soulmates that stick with you forever are the ones that become your friends, your soulmates who are here to take this journey with you. So treasure those ones deeply, very deeply.
Welcome. Today in studio is Emily. Today we hope to make powerful connections for her and help bring her happiness and closure. So I'm just going to take a second to ground and balance. All that means for you is I'm quiet for a second to just center and see who's here. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
When I first step into your energy, the first thing I saw was animals around you. So I don't know, you must be a big animal person, or you've had a lot of animals, so I need to honor that. I sort of feel like lost animals will kind of find their way to you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I just like, you're like an animal magnet. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I relate with that. But I needed to honor that first and foremost, because that was one of the biggest things that came in, is just a love and compassion for animals. And I see dogs too. Like, you must have had a lot of dogs.
A lot of dogs.
I just see a lot of dogs. And I don't know if you just recently lost a dog, but there is a dog that's like by your side. So I need to honor that, like head on your lap by your side. I don't know who it is, but I just need to honor that and know that they're okay. Okay? Okay. Okay. I know. So I have your dad's side here, first and foremost. And I was talking to the dog, and they're like, really, the dog? So they were just a little upset that I put them off for the dog, just to honor that. I know. So I keep stepping in on your, like I said, your father's side.
Okay.
And it's not your dad. Your dad is still here and alive. And I heard you do talk to him. I'm listening. So did you know your grandfather?
No.
Okay. Because he said, because he comes in and he's like, well, I got stuff to say about what's going on. Have you heard about him?
I've heard about him, yeah. And I ask questions about him.
Not horrible things about him.
Right.
He's not a bad man.
Right.
Does that make sense? He's actually a good man. He has kind of a stronger energy though to him. So I think if you wouldn't know him, you might have been off put by him, because he's very like like kind of frank and straightforward, which I don't think is bad. I think that's lost in this day and age. People think if you're frank and straightforward, you're rude. I didn't call you rude. Sorry. He's like, I'm not rude. And I'm like, no, I'm not calling you rude. He said to me, that your dad had a habit of getting busy in life, or always being busy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to say. But he said that your dad does love you. That makes sense?
Totally.
Okay.
Yep.
And he said to me that your dad is trying to be a better dad, or try to be more involved, and sometimes that's weird. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Okay. Just understand that he always wanted to be that person. He was just always so busy mentally trying to hold things together.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It definitely makes sense.
He's a good guy, though.
Yeah.
Like, your dad really does have a big heart. I don't know that everybody sees it. I think he keeps that for family and those who are close to him. I don't know if he ran a business, but there's definitely two sides to him.
Yeah.
There's like a business side to him, and then just this wonderful.
He had his own plumbing business.
Yeah, this wonderful man who would just do anything for people.
Yeah.
So I need to honor that. But your grandfather said to me, can you tell your father that he's done me proud? Because I think your dad needs to know that. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
He talks about your grandmother a lot, your father's mother. And your father's mother, I'm listening. You got along with your grandma? Because I keep seeing your grandma taking care of you or spending time with you.
Yeah.
Your dad's mom.
My dad's mom, yeah.
Okay. I don't think she babysat you, though.
Right, no.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Because he's like, it wasn't like a babysitting thing, but whenever you came over, there was attention to my daughter, you know, to my grandchildren. She was very sweet. She's passed?
No.
Okay. Because he keeps talking about her, okay, I'm listening. I don't know if she was sick. Did she get sick last year?
She's in an assisted living home now.
Okay. Because he's like, she's got some health issues or some things that we always worry about or that everyone worries about with her. Okay. But overall, she's doing okay. She's a little spunky.
She's very spunky.
I think she's got plenty of good in her. Like, she can hold her own.
Yeah, she's very spunky.
Yeah. She's fun though.
She sometimes steals the jelly from the home that she's in.
I think that's good. We won't name her name so she doesn't get in trouble. But I like that she has that kind of, that fun energy. I hate to say people of her era can be a little blah, but she doesn't seem to be from her era. She seems to be ahead of her time, if that makes sense. It's funny though, because I don't think she cares a lot about hair and makeup. Unless she's going to be seen by people. Otherwise, she's pretty laid back and easygoing. But she doesn't like to look a mess. There's a difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's not fussy and that her hair has to be specifically perfect, but she has to be put together if she's going to be going out or anybody's going to see her.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I feel like if somebody came in to help her take a shower, she'd still want to look put together before she took her shower.
Yeah, that's her.
Which seems weird, but not heavy makeup or hair, just... I got to be dressed appropriately. You know, you're going in the shower. Why are you like getting dressed? But that's just who she is. And he said to me, he loves her very much, and he's been with her. So I don't know if when you talk to her, she seems to be talking a lot about her dad, or her husband, or lately talking more about him. And I think a lot of that is just because he's been around her a lot more.
She does. She always says that he should be here with us.
Yeah. Well, he said, yeah, that's not how life works. We don't get to stay forever. He goes, in the best case scenario, some people die within weeks of each other, and others it's many, many years. Many years. I mean, this is maybe over 30 years now?
I don't know
25,
exactly,
30
but it's something,
years?
because I'm 31 and...
Yeah, he died before you.
Yeah.
He said, but that doesn't mean I was never with you. So know that. And he said, tell your dad I said hello, and I am proud of him, please.
Yeah.
I do like your dad. I think he's a good guy.
He's a very good guy.
Your mom's side is piping in because they said they're more important.
Yeah.
No offense to your dad's side.
No,
Again, no offense to your dad's side. Sorry, dad's side. Sorry, Grandpa. I'm listening to your. What's your mom's first name?
Jill.
She passed?
No.
She's still here, right? But I keep having a woman step in who feels like a mother to me. Okay, that's not your grandma?
My grandma, yeah.
Oh, she seems so young though.
She was young.
Okay, because I was like, she feels like a mom though.
Yeah.
She doesn't just feel like a grandma.
She helped definitely raise us.
Okay.
Yeah. We lived with her for a while when we were younger.
Because I feel like mom, I feel like she's so protective of you
Yeah.
guys. Okay. What was her first name?
Cynthia. Cindy.
Cindy.
We called her Grandma Cindy.
She was the most important grandma. No offense to the other grandma.
She was.
Your grandma, Cindy, is love. Like, just an emulation of love, this lady. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
She's not super funny, she said. She said she wasn't funny. She would try to do things to make people laugh, but it never worked. She wasn't really that funny. I just need to honor that. But she talks about it was so important to her that family stuck together and that we helped each other. Does that make sense? Yeah. And she said, your mother did everything she could to try to help me. I don't understand why your mother felt like she could never do enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah, too much.
And she said, you're the same kind of person as your mother, that even when you do a lot for people, you still wish you could do more. Does that make sense? Okay. I don't know, your grandmother smells like food.
Always cooking.
But not something specific. Like I couldn't say it was just sauce, it was just this. She just smells like dinner. It just makes sense. Thanks, Grandma. That's a weird thing to give me. You're taller than your grandma was?
Yeah.
She's taller than me, though. I'm 5 foot nothing. So she's definitely got height on me. She could be somewhere around 5'4" to 5'6", maybe.
Yeah.
I'm short. I'm 5 foot. So I'm like, wow, you're really tall. She's like, not really that tall.
Yeah.
Average height for a female nowadays is what I would say. She talks about you do have a job and you work, and that's okay. It's an okay job. Like, I literally feel like there's nothing horrible going on in your job. But she said, if you want to make changes, you just have to do it and stop talking about it, stop thinking about it, stop thinking, oh, I'm too old to start something new. You're not too old. Does that make sense? Because I keep seeing college books in front of you or going back to school.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've already started, but I feel like this is right here for you. Does that make sense? So you'll do fine. You're not dumb. I just gave you the grandma look.
Yeah.
Like, you'll do fine.
I took a semester off to try to figure out if I'm on the right path.
You take a few extra courses and see. She goes, it's not a big deal if you have to go in one extra semester, right, or 3 extra classes to shift, because I feel like you're on the right path, just not in the specialty of the right path.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I think once you get involved in the specialty of whatever it is you're going for, you'll definitely feel more like you're home as far as career goes. Does that make sense? Because she said there's so much stuff that's going on that you haven't even touched on yet with your studies, that once you start getting into more of that, you'll definitely know where you're supposed to be. Hold on. And she goes, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Do you have other people who passed that are not family related?
Yeah.
Because I have people stepping in behind you. Okay. Is this somebody you were very close to, a very good friend?
Yeah.
Okay. What's their name?
Dan.
Let me yell at him and get him in here. Because he's kind of been sitting back and he's not sure you're ready. He's like, I wasn't sure if you're ready to talk to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. He seems tall to me. So I'm 5 foot. So is he shorter than you, though?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're like 5'7"?
About that, yeah.
Okay. He's like 5'5", 5'6"?
Yep.
On a good day?
Yeah, on a good day.
He said with good sneakers on, good shoes. He has a sense of humor. He seems like, you and I are going to disagree on this, buddy. He says he has a quick wit. I'd say he tries to have a quick wit. He and I are going to disagree on that. He's young. He's around your age? Okay. I don't know your age. You don't have to announce it, I promise. But you're further up in your 20s?
Yeah.
Early 30s area?
31.
We're getting close to, he says we're getting closer to old age. Well, you are. I'm not going to age. He comes in almost with a brotherly energy, though. Like not just a buddy, but a brother. Like, okay, not brother. He takes care of you.
We were engaged.
Okay. Because he's like, I got to take care of her. I got to support her. Does that make sense? He said to me, I don't want to talk about how I died. We already know that wasn't good. Does that make sense? But it doesn't feel like a suicide.
Overdose.
Yeah. It feels like this was an accident. This is something that I'm not... I don't know. I get that. He said, I'm not proud of what went down, but we all kind of thought that may happen someday. He keeps talking about, it wasn't his fault, though. I don't know if this was a different drug or the drugs came from someone else or something. Like, he just didn't know that was going to be the final outcome because he didn't do anything different. He did say he did try to get better at some point, though.
He did.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And he said, the biggest problem is that I tried to get better for both of us, but I never really dealt with the past. Does that make sense? He had a sucky childhood.
Yeah.
He said that. He said to me, he said not to go on about my past because it'd be probably spent too many hours talking about that.
Yeah.
You used to tell me I had to let it go and let go of my anger. Right? And he's like, and I just could never let go of that anger for any reason. I tried. And he's like, I just couldn't release.
He had troubles with his mom growing up.
He's like, I really wish Mom would have gotten better. Does that make sense? He talks about you being the light in his life, though. And he's like, and that shouldn't be a surprise to her, because I told her that all the time. He's like, I still don't understand why you put up with me. Do you understand that?
I don't either.
But he said to me that you two were like soulmates. You two had a very strong connection. And I feel like you left him and you're like, I'm done. And then you're like, why do I keep going back? Why am I pulled in? And I think everybody thought you were crazy for this, but you two did love each other. And there was a purpose to this relationship. Unfortunately for you, you lost him, but he said, I need to thank you because of you, even though I still had my addiction, I grew so much. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He says he visits you all the time. So this isn't a surprise to you. He said, you know he's around. And he has a smell to him. I don't know if it was a specific fabric softener or cologne, but I feel like if I hug him, I know his smell. Does that make sense?
Maybe cigarettes.
Maybe. I'm immune to cigarette smell from my family. Thanks, parents. But also he has just like, he really does, underneath all that pain and all that anger and all that hurt that he had, this man, I'm going to call you a man. I'm being nice. You're a man-child, but I'm going to call you a man. He laughed. He goes, she knows that's true. Underneath all that, he has this amazing capacity to love and to care about everybody else. And I feel like that was probably part of his problem, too, always trying to help everybody else so that he didn't have to focus on himself. Does that make sense? He said he was a good-looking man, by the way, so I'm just supposed to pass that on. So everybody who sees the shows knows he was a good-looking man. And he talks about you got a tattoo for him. So he wants to honor that. And he said, thank you. He said, you cried during the tattoo. You were crying, not because of the pain of the physical aspect of the tattoo, but more the emotional release of a final goodbye. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And he said, I'm saying this not because you don't know and you weren't there, but because that's my way of saying I was there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And he said, it's an okay tattoo.
It's an angel wing on my shoulder.
He would totally do something bigger.
I actually want to get more, like added on to it. I've been thinking about it and what to get.
He's like, yeah, money, right?
Yeah.
He's proud of you for going to school, though. Were you going to school when he passed, or were you getting ready to enroll? Because I feel like that at the beginning of it, that was all connected. You were dealing with school at that time.
Yeah.
He died recently?
That was a year ago.
Okay, because he said it wasn't that long ago. It was just, it was just a few months back. It was not that long ago.
Next week will be a year.
Okay. What's going on with his birthday? Did you guys do a birthday party or something? Because he's like, I didn't get the gifts, but I got the love.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
He shows there was cake.
We had it. Yeah.
Okay.
We got cupcakes.
Okay, because he's like, they got cake. He likes pie too.
He does like, yeah.
Yeah, he said you could do pie next time.
Next time you will.
He keeps showing me pie, and I'm like, okay, I'll tell her to get some pies. But he said, thank you for the birthday party. That was not too long ago.
No.
His birthday. It was a few months back.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we let off balloons and had cake and.
Yeah. So he said thanks for the birthday party. So know that even though on that side, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but their birthdays aren't important, the recognition is what matters. Yeah. So even if you don't do something big and elaborate all the time, he still thanks you for the impact. Is there a stone? Is there like a plaque or something? Because he keeps showing engraving with his name, with his ashes. He was cremated.
He was cremated,
okay.
Yeah.
So did you guys end up finishing and scattering them?
So I have one thing. Okay. His dad has something. His brother has something. So it's kind of spread out. But his dad and brother did spread out. Okay. Yeah, they did some.
And you have, is it a little locket or is it something?
It's a little heart. It's like this big.
Okay, because he keeps saying it's.
Yeah, it's right next to my bed.
Okay. And he said, move me if you ever get involved in another relationship. I may not want to stay there. But he said to me, I know that you're still healing and that this is still hard for you. And he's like, but I want you to know that I haven't gone very far.
Right.
And even though you and I weren't meant to be together here as a couple forever and to get married and have a happily ever after, because of me, you will have a happily ever after. He's going to make sure of it because he's a bit bossy sometimes.
Yeah.
He's so funny because you don't feel it, but he's like running his hands through your hair. I don't know if he did that in life, but that's what he keeps doing. And
when we first started dating, he did it all the time.
Yeah, he's just like running his hands through your hair. And it's like, if I could explain it to you, it'd be like he'd be making eye contact with you, running his hands through your hair. And he wants to tell you you're still beautiful. And he said, no more beating yourself up. You're still beautiful, and you'll always be beautiful. He goes, it's not just externally that's beautiful, besides your eyes, because he loves your eyes, by the way, but because of who you are inside. And he said, I love everything about you, and just know that I haven't left you. So I'm going to leave you with that. And he sends you so much love. Do you have any questions, real quick?
Just one, because we have a daughter together. I'm just wondering if he visits her, and we have a son too.
Well, the son doesn't listen, just to clarify. But he does visit the kids. They're just not, the daughter's more open than the son is.
She's very open.
But yeah, he hasn't left you guys. That's all he's like, just tell her I haven't left. So I'll give that to you, and I'll leave you with that.
That's perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. Whenever we lose a loved one, it's always difficult and it's always painful. And we may not always be aware that they're with us, but they're always keeping an eye on us and they're always in our heart. If suddenly you're driving down the road and they pop into your mind, most likely they're just sitting in the car with you. Know that their love never ends, even when their body ceases to exist. Have a great day.